I just bought a marble run and I think that you should too. Hi, my name is Abi Gatling and this is Creativity Uncovered. This is my podcast where I explore how everyday people find inspiration, get inventive, and open their imagination. Basically, I want to know how people come across creative solutions and then how they use them at home, at work, at play, and everything in between. And the goal for this podcast is that by the end of it, you'll be armed with a whole suite of tried and tested ways to summon creativity the next time that you need it. Now, today is just an episode with me. I usually interview a guest, but every now and then I just like to come on and share my thoughts, share what's happening with my life. And something exciting happened to me recently, so I thought I would share that today. So I was in an op shop recently, a thrift store if you are overseas. In Australia, we call them op shops. And I found myself a second-hand set of a marble run kit. The ones like it's got different plastic tubes and bits and pieces, and basically you build a track to run a marble down. Super fun. And, even though I have no kids, I'm well into my 30s. I saw that and I bought that straight away. And I took it home and I proudly showed it to my husband. And he was like, are we giving that to someone as a present or can we keep it? And I was like, firstly, okay, great. That shows you that I married the right man. But secondly, I was so excited to find this kit in the op shop that I just had to buy it straight away. It tapped into something for me. And I remember having a similar toy when I was a kid. I've mentioned this before, but I come from a big, big family. I have five brothers, I have two sisters. And so often when it came to Christmas, we would get one present as the kids. We'd get one kid's present that we could all use. And props to my parents for always being so creative about choosing something that would span the reach of all the entire breadth of like these kids, all eight of us. One time it was a trampoline, which was so awesome. Another time it was a spirograph. I absolutely loved that one. And this one time at Christmas, I think we were living in Belgium at the time. We were given this marble run set. And I just found this gift to be so enchanting. I loved all the different colored pieces. I adored the shiny marbles. And I really thoroughly, thoroughly enjoyed being able to endlessly build and take apart this kit to make all sorts of different runs for the marbles to go down. And, I was so excited that this was a game that I could play with all my brothers and sisters because I loved that as well. And, I loved that marble run so much that I actually managed to wrangle it into a part of a science project, like a science assignment that I had to do years and years later when I was in high school. I think it was maybe to show like kinetic energy transfer or something like that. But I had refound this marble run and I was like, yes, I'm going to use this in some way. Anyway, fast forward to present day, and I'm just after buying this marble run that have found in an op shop. And I did think I was a little bit crazy for buying this toy. But when I saw my husband's reaction, I absolutely knew that I was in the right and I was doing the right thing. Because there is just something so nostalgic about playing with a toy that you had loved as a kid. A toy that just filled you with so much joy. And so, when I saw this game again and when my husband saw it, we both had these kind of stupid grins on our faces. And I was like, oh yeah, this is what life's all about, right? And similarly, I actually had a friend a couple of years ago buy herself a Tamagotchi. Do you remember Tamagotchis? There were those like little electronic pets that you kept in your pocket and you had to go and like press the buttons and feed it and you had to take it to the toilet and clean it and do all those weird things. But they were super popular in like the 90s, I think. I had one and I loved it too. And anyway, my friend who was in her 30s, similar to me, bought herself one. And, she's a lawyer, she has her own house, a great career, is super accomplished. And, she could buy whatever she wanted to, but yet she was just so excited about buying a Tamagotchi for herself. And she had said to me when I was like, oh, why'd you get a Tamagotchi? She said, well, one of her biggest regrets was actually losing her Tamagotchi. Either she lost it in a house move or maybe she gave it away to the op shop and someone else is enjoying it. But, that happened when she was a kid. She lost it somehow, and that was one of her biggest regrets. So when Tamagotchis made a resurgence recently, she was like, I'm going to go back and buy me one. And so she did. She just had to go out there and get herself one. And so you may be thinking, oh gosh, okay, this, adults buying a marble run for themselves and a Tamagotchi for themselves seems like a really weird thing to do. But I disagree. Because we talk about some big ideas here on the podcast and, about making these grand changes and bringing creativity into your life. But what I discovered about buying this marble run is that actually sometimes these ideas don't have to be so big. Sometimes the changes don't have to be so epic. They can just be small things, they're really small little changes in your life. Like a tweak to your routine or simply purchasing a $2 toy from from the local op shop. And the reason why I think this is the case is because feeling positive and joyful and tapping into that like inner child has such a tremendous impact on your creativity. And so it sort of struck me, yeah, sometimes, these things don't have to be massive. They can just be a small thing. So if you're finding the idea of being creative scary, perhaps maybe you should switch the idea away from having to be creative and instead frame it as looking to have more fun, right? Because, on this podcast, we've had a lot of guests come on and they quite often say that if you want to reconnect with your creativity and you haven't done it in an absolute age, then you should think back and cast your mind back to what you loved doing as a kid. And that's a really great place to start. Think about what you loved doing as a kid and start there. And well, I think this is like so great for creativity. I actually think that it's a really great way to help bring a little bit of joy, a little bit of happiness into your life too. Because there is something that is just so pure about the joy that you had as a kid. And if you can find something small that enables you to kind of tap back into that joy and that creativity as a kid, why not do that? For me, it was this marble run, which we have played with and it's awesome. And now I get to play with it with my nieces and nephews as well, which is awesome. For my friend, it was a Tamagotchi, which was something that cost her about, I don't know, $15, and but she's stoked. She's so stoked for that. For my husband, it's Simpsons memorabilia. We have so many of it in the house. Simpsons Lego, all sorts of weird things. I don't know, Simpsons related stuff. And you might look at that and go, oh, that's just clutter in our house. But for him, it's something that helps tap into that beautiful, nostalgic fun and joy of his childhood. And so, yeah, I don't know. I feel like instead of trying to make these big, giant, grand changes in your life to try and, inject these creative routines into your life, maybe it should just be just trying to inject a little bit more fun and joy and lightheartedness into your life. Because I think if you can nail that, then the creativity will come after that naturally. I think you're happy, you get the creative juices flowing. So maybe reverse engineer it that way. So yeah, mine was a marble run. My friend's was a Tamagotchi. Michael's is Simpsons stuff. What is it for you? I'd love for you to think and cast your mind back to when you were a kid and what put a smile on your dial. So, what is it that, when you look back on your childhood, what actually sticks out to you fondly? And, there may be a bunch of things, and that's awesome. Explore all of them. But when you're thinking about things, I want you to kind of think about what are the things that you find yourself just smiling, like you can't help but just smile when you think about it, because that's a really good place to start. And, then think about, is this something that you can either recreate, perhaps maybe it's not a toy, maybe it's not something like that, maybe it's a location, maybe it's an activity. Can you recreate that? Can you go back there? Or can you re-engage with it as an adult to somehow tap into that joy and get that back again? So that's my homework for you. I've had an absolute blast with this marble run. And I'm keen to know what is it for you that you can tap into to get some of that get some of that fun into your life again. Because as adults, we all are too serious, and sometimes it's just fun playing with a marble run and just letting your mind wander. Because it certainly got my creative juices going again. So yeah, let me know. I would love to hear. So, thank you for tuning in to this quick one. I'm Abby Gatling, and this is Creativity Uncovered. And until next time, take care. Oh, and yes, of course, you can come over and play with my marble run any day. More the merrier. Take care. If you've made it this far, a huge thank you for your support and tuning into today's episode. Creativity Uncovered has been lovingly recorded on the land of the Cubby Cubby people, and we pay our respect to elders past, present, and emerging. This podcast has been produced by my amazing team here at Crisp Communications, and the music you just heard was composed by James Gatling. If you liked this episode, please do share it around and help us on our mission to unlock more creativity in this world. You can also hit subscribe so you don't miss out on any new episode releases.